I think I would agree with what most of the pros are saying, that it's very momentum based. It's very momentum based. So I think it's really dynamic. I think there are a lot of options. I think it's probably one of the better matchups at the moment just because there's a lot of diversity when it comes to Twilight Council openers, Stargate openers, Robo openers. Likewise, when it comes to 1-1-1, into Banshee, into Widowmine drop, into Tank drop, into Reactor Reaper Hellion, into Cyclone openers. There's a lot of diverse openers and a lot of diverse play on both sides. So I think that's really good. But what I mentioned before about it being very momentum based is that very often we do see, and it happened in the previous series, even in the last one that we just casted, where if someone gets a lead early on, it can be really difficult to bounce back from that. It can be really difficult to take momentum away from your opponent, and it goes both ways, from the side of the Protoss and from the side of the Terran. And I think that's the main consensus from a lot of pro players. And that's what can make the matchup difficult. But here we go. We're jumping into our fresh series and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone. We have the Danish Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Terran player, the red Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem from Atlanta, France. It was like a really tricky matchup. I would, again, as I mentioned before, I would say that it's probably in the best place compared to the other matchups. Like, I think this, like ZVP, for example, is in a really rough position where openers in the early game is very limited in ZVP, and I think a lot of people would want it to be more like TvP. Whereas I mentioned, there are a lot of openers from both sides, and there's a lot of options, right? Which is always a good thing. There's a lot of options, there's a lot of variety. Which, as a caster, I'll be honest, I do enjoy covering like TvP because of that, for sure. As for now, we do have our opener. Just Gate Cyber Expand out of MaxPax. Likewise, at Clem going for a double gas opener back at home. Double gas into a faster factory. As you mentioned before, this can lead into Reactor Reaper Hellion, can lead into Cyclones, Tanks, Banshee play. We got a lot of options here for Clem. We'll see how aggressive he plans on being with that faster factory. Let's go. It does move out. Let's move out across the map. Likewise, behind this, it is going to be a Widowmine drop-based opener. So Widowmines are on the way into Medivacs, into drop play. Meanwhile, Twilight Council out of MaxPax. Now, even though it's a Twilight Council, we'll see how many gateways he throws down. It is not uncommon to go 2 gateways into a faster third base. We could see 3 Gate Blink or 4 Gate Blink Stalker instead. So MaxPax will see how heavily aggressive he is, how committed. We'll keep an eye on his gateways. Likewise, Clem being active. Now, Reapers, they do outrange the Adepts, so very nice damage. They bully the Adept. Oh, let's go, the healing pad. Let's go. As MaxPax, he does keep the Adept alive. Very nicely done. Again, it's rare to see the healing pad used. Beautiful. Does save the Adept. Clem are rotating over. And looks like we are indeed going for a 3-gate opener. So 3-gate blink out of MaxPax. Then he rotates over, looking for another way in. Checking Clem's vision, he has yet to really confirm the tech, but upon seeing the 3rd gateway, he can assume it's Twilight Council. So he can make that assumption. The Mine Drop is moving out, as I mentioned before. So Mine Drop opener here out of Clem, 3 Widow Mines across the map, and behind this should be getting ready for tank production. So he's building up back at home, getting ready for the counterattack after the Mine Drop. So far both players are building up into the mid-game. Tank production has begun. Job comes in. MaxPax with the intercept, takes down the Medivac. Nicely done. Snipes the Medivac. Probe's going to be going down. He gets 3 probes so far. Well, meanwhile, Reapers, they do delay the expansion. Yeah, 4 probe kills. One of them was to expand, was trying to get a 3rd base. But Clem will delay. So nice pick off there by Clem. And now that the Mine Drop has been dealt with, now MaxPax, he can move out. Now, the one issue here for Clem is that he lost the Medivac. If he was able to preserve it, then he could have saved a Widow Mine. He could still force supply to be kept at home to defend against another drop. But with that medevac going down, now MaxPax, he's free. He's broken free, he's broken out. And now it's on MaxPax to counterattack. Here comes that third base. Clem back at home. We'll see how secure he is. He has a bunker on the low ground. He's got one tank in the main. Second tank is on the way. But he needs a little bit more time for that second tank. Gets an SCV. Not bad. Clem, he, I believe, does confirm the third. Not quite. But he did see the probe earlier, so we can assume. Can assume. Likewise, Raven harassing to the main. 3 probe kills against 2. Both players going back and forth. As MaxPax, he does rotate. Going for extra warp ins. Now, most of the buy was here at the natural. I mean, we have 2 bunkers at the natural base. The main base more exposed. Can we even try and deny stim? MaxPax, he's tempted. Does go for it. Going for the tank. He'll get 1. Brings down 1 tank and doesn't quite get the other. Has to pull back. Stim does take some damage, but for the most part, he should hold and should defend. So Clem, he holds onto the main base. MaxPax, he bled out how many stalkers? 4 stalkers going down so far for 1 tank. Yeah, rough trade there for MaxPax. And we have our standard follow-up here. It's going to be +1 in charge. +1 into charge. Into delayed Colossus. MaxPax still looking for damage. Does get behind the mineral line. SCV is going to be going down. This one he gets 2. Yes, 2 SCV kills. So SCVs pulls away. Likewise, the observer does confirm the 3rd CC, so MaxPax, he knows there's no 2 base all in. He sees everything in the main. And back at home, he is free to take up into Colossus. So with that, the aggression is subsiding, and now we can embrace a longer game. So we're getting into the mid-game. Clem, he will soon take his 3rd expansion. Meanwhile, MaxPax, upon seeing the 3rd base, now he knows he can take a 4th. So MaxPax is free to do so. Now that Clem has stim, he can break out. And he's looking to expand. Oh. Now, as we get into the mid-game, we don't have any clear advantages yet, but as Clem moves out, Prism is coming in. The Widow Mines! Oh my god! Calm down. The Widow Mines are ready. Yeah, Max actually notices, he pulls away. Doesn't go for it. Ay. Doesn't commit. And now 3rd base on the way. The Prism is still active, of course, still out there. Once again, healing up. Let's go. MaxPax, he does spot the tanks. And he won't quite get them. Gets a Marauder. Pulls away. Widow Mines are still in position. Prism is coming back in. For a massive warp in. Oh my god. MaxPax, let's take some ice to the face. So elsewhere, are we headed? Not just holding on. So ideally, MaxPax, he wants to wait for Clem to push. Wants to wait for Clem to commit across the map, and that just isn't happening. Clem, he stays back at home, he secures his 3 bases, so there's no opening here for MaxPax, he has to pull away. But what's important is that MaxPax's economy has been untouched. He's on 71 workers, he's on 4 bases, he's building up his Colossus. We're getting into a longer game state. MaxPax fanning out his units, spotted pylons, observers. Does have a recall available if need be. Clem going for his own drop. MaxPax, he's in position, he's keeping up. We'll zone that Prism away. And from here, we're just getting into Ghost. Ghost production, 4 CC. Like, overall, we have had no committed pushes here from either player. We've been posturing, that is true, but for the most part, both players are just taking up into longer games. There's been a lot of, like, feigning of attacks and attempted move-outs and then coming back home. It's just been very much so positional play from both players. So we should be maxing out. Clem is going to be the first to max. MaxPax, he shouldn't be too far behind. When it comes to the compositions themselves, there's going to be a little potential here with these EMPs. MaxPax, he only has one form of splash damage, which is my biggest concern. He has no disruptors, he has no storm, he only has Colossus to rely upon. So Clem does have a window. MaxPax does spot this. He has to respect the Vikings. Gets a couple of shots off. Yeah, nice force fields, very nice force fields. He locks down the army. Marines and Marauders going to be going down. Clem, he gets one Colossus. Barely takes down one. Going for the other. Yeah, second Colossus does go down to one Colossus left. He has to back off. Zelze coming from behind, mass around. I was ready for the counterattack, but no, instead we surround the army and the mass zealot will catch out Clem. Yeah, Ghost's going to be going down one after the other. Massive pickoffs. Clem, he's in trouble. It's racing all the way back, and Clem, he can't quite keep up. Yeah, the Zealot's round was just too much. Forced to pick up, Medevac does fall. MaxPax doesn't quite have enough to keep going. So calm down. Once again reinforcing, just warping in with that prism. Going for the CC. MaxPax having a hard time pushing off that ramp, but he might just be able to overwhelm. We get a couple of probe kills, but for the most part, Clem, he's in trouble here. Boys are coming in. Still just one Colossus. Or did I say one? Getting up to 2. Getting up to 3. 3 Colossus on the way, and there's only 4 Vikings. MaxPax once again getting ready for a flank, getting ready for a surround. Zealots are coming in from behind, and Clem is getting locked in. He does, oh my god, takes down both Colossus. Insane Viking shots. But MaxPax, he's done it. He's done it. He breaks through that defensive line, takes down all the Vikings, takes down all the Ghosts, and there's almost nothing left. GG gets called, and MaxPax, he will take game 1 and a lead in the series. Whew, GG. MaxPax does take a lead. Again, I did notice the Zealot warp in earlier, and I was just, we were all expecting a run by, a counterattack. Clem, he was doing such a great job at defending back at home and deflecting those run bys, deflecting those drops. Instead, surround. Instead, they turned around, we went for a massive surround here in the center of the map, and Clem, he got caught out. He got a little bit too excited. It wasn't just a surround. If you remember, when it came to the fight overall, MaxPax was being very efficient. He was force fielding the army, he was cutting it up and attacking portions at a time. Clem, he just got a little bit too excited, he committed a little bit too hard, and he overextended, for sure. Clem, he lost everything. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting ready for game number 2, and we'll see if MaxPax can close this out. We'll see if Clem can bounce back. Let's go. Let us go. They know each other so well. They do, they do. Which is why it was really... what's the best word? It was very mature of MaxPax to respect the defensive setup. Like, despite the fact that MaxPax, for a lot of that game, he had that War Prism and he had those Zealots ready, but he never went for it, right? He never went for those run-bys and counterattacks. He never tried to break the natural base. He was very patient with that. Very patient. Until he saw that opportunity. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Tokamak. Interesting. Oh, this is the map. There's a lot to get into. A much more defensive map is what I will say. Much more secure. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Psystorm Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And Welcome to Tokamak, another one of these larger macro maps in the map pool. And this map actually reminds me a little bit of Star Child. I don't know if you recall Star Child in the Pigastar Monday map pool, where you have these more defendable third and fourth bases. Here towards the left-hand side, we have the triangular third base, which also has a bit of a narrow choke point that you can take advantage of here. Likewise, not as easy to push into as there are ramps on the left and right hand side. Likewise, here we have the linear third base as well. But we have these rocks in the center in between them. So similar to Star Child, the map does open up as the game progresses. There's a lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocks, a lot of towers. If they get broken down, then you can open the map up. But until then, it does feel a lot more secure here on your four bases. Not the most secure. It's not as defensive as, say, Abyssal Reef or Neon Violet Square or King's Cove. It's not that extreme, but a little bit more defendable nonetheless, more so than the previous map that we just casted on, more so than Persephone. So we could get a longer game out of this. Likewise, there's also the hybrid base here where you can destroy the minerals, you can knock down these towers. A unique feature. We've yet to see this come into play. I don't know if it ever will, but it's there. True. As this time Clem, he does go for a single gas opener. He goes for a Rax expand. So economic start here by Clem for the first time this series. And again, it makes sense. We're on a larger map, so we can cut corners. We can be greedy and focus on our economy. While MaxPax does open Zealot first, his goal here is to try to punish that CC. Okay. Zealot does waddle across the map. The Zealot does move out across the map. Likewise, Clem does get into the mineral line. There isn't a him to defend. Clem, he gets one probe. And he shouldn't get a second. Just the one worker. Meanwhile, across the map, ooh, SCVs are going to be going down. Getting 2 SCVs so far. But MaxPax, he doesn't delay the command center. Doesn't delay, does finish. Reaper goes back in. Reaper doesn't get another probe. From here, we are building up. From here, once again, MaxPax is going for his Twilight Council. Last game, as a reminder, it was 3-gate blink. It was 3-gate blink into a standard game state, into a third base. Once again, we have a third gateway also on the way. So the same opener, same build, 2 games in a row out of MaxPax. Clem once again is going for a Widowmine drop, but this time it looks to be a double Widowmine drop instead of triple. Sorry, being chased down. Gets one. Clem does move out. Now, I mean, to be fair, that was also another big part of the last game, was that Clem's Widowmine drop was very unsuccessful. I mean, it did kill some workers, that is true, but the medevac went down real fast and real quick. So MaxPax, he had no need to stay at home to defend. He was free to move out. Here, one of the Stalkers is distracted. Mine drop going into the natural. And he does react. Let me boost away. Oh! Mine drop going off. Not quite. Doesn't quite connect. Widowmine into the main. And MaxPax does pull away. Gets a Stalker. Nice pickup. Takes down a Stalker. Takes down 2 Stalkers even. And Clem, he waddles away. He tries to. Does try to. Doesn't quite make it out. Clem, he escapes with the medevac at least, but does lose both Widowmines. MaxPax, he does defend. Now he breaks free. Building up to 9 Stalkers. The main base does have a tank in position, bunker on the low ground. You can see that Clemmy pre-pulled the boys. Second bunker's on the way. MaxPax does blink in. Oof, but he gets punished. Yeah, there's no break in this position. There's 2 tanks behind the production. Clem, he can poke away at the factory, but that's all he can really do. Oh, sorry, MaxPax, I meant to say. Oof. And MaxPax is forced out. Rotates over, runs into 2 bunkers. Oh, gets a Raven. Does pick off a Raven, but again, can't really get much more than that. Now going for the mineral line. So far, Clem is looking solid. Did lose a Raven, but outside of that, hasn't lost much yet. Now bleeding out some SCVs. MaxPax going for a couple more, getting up to 4, getting up to 5 SCV kills. Aye, aye, aye. Did I say 5? Getting up to 7, getting up to 8. 8 SCVs go down. And MaxPax, he does mix things up a little bit here. So, last game we saw charge and +1. This time it's a later forge. So, delayed forge out of MaxPax going to a very fast Dark Shrine. So, DTs are on the way. Clem, he already has a safety turret here at the natural. True. Does have a safety turret. Likewise, Clem, he is just soon breaking out, getting a 3rd CC. The main is so massive, Jesus. Just realized. It's a big main. Does catch the observer. Nicely done. Takes down the observer. MaxPax once again getting ready for a counterattack. Here come those charge lots. Oh, sorry, I should say, here come those DTs. Okay, there is that turret. The main base is more vulnerable. Checking MaxPax's vision. He is aware of the turret. He knows. Clem, he delays the 4th. Widowmines once again, they're in position. Just like the last game. Ooh, DT's revealed. Yeah, I don't think that was intentional. Gets 1 tank. Not bad. Takes down the tank. Medevac gets hunted down. MaxPax does gain map control. DT is revealed. First one gets sniped. Yeah, now we have safety turrets on the way. And so far, this tech choice from MaxPax just hasn't really been worth it. Not yet. As the Prism gets spotted. Clammy's on the hunt. Oh! Does get it! Massive pickup. Takes down the Prism. That means no more counterattacks, no more run-bys. Clammy can focus on his push. For now, he backs off. He's building up Vikings. As Vikings are on the way, MaxPax now getting into Colossus. ET waddling in. That channel gets dealt with. Clem just focusing on his push. And he wants that expansion. He's within range. Next is under fire. Colossus trying to move in. But MaxPax, he doesn't have enough. He's going to try to, though. Mine just going off. Forcing with a friendly fire, but the Zealous just melt against this army. Here comes the next wave. Zealous trying to get on top of the tank. Very nice target firing. Takes down the Colossus. Down to 1 tank, and MaxPax, he has enough. Ooh, does break through. Takes down the final tank. But again, did cost him the Colossus. Okay, rallying forward. Does rally in. Now looks like MaxPax, he barely did hold on. I mean, the base is so low. Jesus. It's so low. Does survive. And we're getting into a longer game state. Clem is taking. 4th CC is on the way. Ghost Academy as well. So Clem is taking up. Taking out red pylons. Clem, it looks like the base survived early, but nah, it does go down. A nice snipe here from Clem. Takes down the expansion, knocking MaxPax down. Now, I mean, he has a limited economy. I'm getting supply blocked as well. Ay. Yeah, brutal supply block here from MaxPax, throwing down 2 more pylons and an expansion. Very late response. MaxPax just banking resources. Then pulling away. As MaxPax is moving in. Rotating over, he does spot the 4th. Clem out of position. 4th base under fire. Oh, nice EMP. MaxPax overextending a little bit here. The Colossus are all going to go down. The EMP was brutal. And Colossus are forced back. We do see these Zelta do wreak havoc. That's going to be 9 SCV kills. 11 SCVs. They're still going. And the Zelta still going ham. But this might just be worth it because Clem gets the Colossus. 14 SGs. They're still going. They're still going. 15 SCVs. 2 Zealots. 2 Zealots killed 15 SCVs. That's crazy. Miss rally here out of MaxPax. Colossus goes down. And Clem snowballs out of control. MaxPax, he lost everything. And sure, Clem, you might be losing SCVs back at home, but it doesn't matter, as he's here to end the game. MaxPax just bleeding out too much. I mean, didn't help that he got supply blocked. Lost the 4th base earlier. Clem is looking to overwhelm. MaxPax, he's just now making, or now having his first Colossus popping out. Up to 1 Colossus. EMP on the Stalkers. Nice concave, nice spread. And he can just take these better trades. Oh. Denies the warp in. Now he has to pull away. Once again, punishing those Stalkers. Still rallying across the map. Max actually attempts to surround. Not a bad engage here from MaxPax. Trading as best he can. But still not enough. Oh, what does this destroy? I was curious. And it destroys some of the... Yeah, it destroys all the regular mineral patches. Not the gold. Okay. I was curious. So it doesn't destroy everything. Just destroys the regular blue minerals instead. Okay. Now we know. I'll be honest, I just assumed it destroyed everything. That is not the case. So many armies are posturing. Clem is maxed out. Once again, the EPs are brutal. He gets 1 of the Colossi. Unfortunately, because MaxPax has been trading and because he hasn't been able to build up a bank, there's no other tech. Like, there's no Storm, there's no Disruptors, there's no second Robo. Like, MaxPax has been too busy trading that he hasn't built up a bank to tech up. That is hurting him. Does mean that if he loses 1 fight, then he's not going to be able to rebuild in time. The production's not quite there. So Clem rotates over, gets a free Colossus. Oof, Colossus goes down. And there's 2 Colossus left. And the Vikings are just going ham. Yeah, they shut down the Colossus time and time again. Jesus. I mean, the Zealots are trading somewhat well against this. Not bad. Without the Zealots, though, the army just crumbles. These Stalkers are so vulnerable. We need those charge lots. speaking of, EMP is brutal. GG gets called as MaxPax, he runs out of steam, and Clem, he will tie up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. Again, just a really rough start for MaxPax as the initial DT opener didn't get much done. He was also bleeding out Colossus after Colossus when it comes to the main fights. Just some really rough engagements there from MaxPax, and in the end, it was overwhelmed. Clem was looking pretty comfortable for the most part. I'm referring to, I feel like, really secured himself after he killed the 4th base. If you remember, initially he didn't kill the 4th, but he was able to snipe it later with a drop. Able to get the snipe. Able to bring it down. It was just after that where he killed the Colossus as well. And with that, we are going to the ace match. Let's go. And again, unfortunately, because MaxPax, he was trading constantly and being forced to replace those Colossi because they just kept going down, he was never able to get a second Robo, Gases, Disruptors, Immortals, Storm. Just never able to get into any of that. And with that, GG. GG well played. We're going into the ace match, a map that I was not expecting actually for the first time tonight. We are loading into Last Fantasy. Let's go. And spawning in the top side of Last Fantasy, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Representing Sidestorm Gaming, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as well, we have the French Terran player, the red Terran. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Here we go. And welcome one all to Last Fantasy. This is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in top side, right side, or left side of the map as well. So there's a little bit of an RNG factor when it comes to early game scouting, but a way to supplement that, of course, are these speed zones. So we have speed zones here in the center of the map. This does allow Reaper scouting and just a lot of scouting in general to be a little bit faster when it comes to going across map as well. So that is a way to help allow for faster scouting on this map to eliminate some of that RNG. As MaxPax does scout towards the south side, he will confirm that Clem is nowhere to be found. And Clem has yet to SCV scout himself, going for an economic opener. Bold move here on Last Fantasy. Going for the single gas into a faster CC. We go. So economic starts. When it comes to our expansion patterns here as well, they're a little bit awkward. I say that it depends on where your opponent is, depends on how you expand and where you expand to. But one of the big factors here that we did find out in the previous series between Bjorn and MaxPax, this was last week in the Biggest War Monday where Bjorn did defeat MaxPax, is the terrain. Are these cliff faces? There are so many cliff faces here on Last Fantasy. This actually reminds me of Return of the King. The map, not the not the movie, the map, the Brood War map that we've been casting recently on StarCraft Evolution. Yeah, there are just so many cliff faces here, and it's so difficult as a result to actually push up these ramps. It isn't just the cliff faces, but the ramps themselves are very narrow ramps here. So there's actually a massive defensive advantage. As long as you're able to keep up with the rotations, then you can punish pushes real hard and real fast and real quick. Because of that, we've seen aggression struggle and aggression fail in the mid game, and defending players have more success. Of course, MaxPax, he found that out the hard way, and from here going for a Twilight Council opener himself once again. So as you can see here, if we take the linear third base, for example, there's a pretty narrow choke point here coming into the third. There is the ramp as well. There are these cliff faces that you can set up tanks on, of course. Oh, as we get 2 pro kills so far. As we head towards the south side, once again, more choke points, more cliff faces, more choke points, and more ramps. Getting into a longer game though, and getting into like a 5th expansion, that's going to be a little bit more difficult, for sure. We haven't seen that game state yet. We haven't seen like 5 base versus 5 base or 6 bases. But the map is still new.
Game
As we do
paused.
have a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything is okay. I agree that aggressions are difficult in this map, speaking as a victim. I mean, again, I'm taking reference from it was last week we casted Beyond versus MaxPax, and MaxPax had a really hard time being aggressive, and Beyond, he was just set up here with tank lines, and Beyond just punished the hell out of MaxPax and just snowballed out of control. So yeah, of course, the very often maps, they kind of like dictate play styles, like what is favored, what is not, and how to approach things. Like the maps are a big part of like what is favorite, like how to approach things, how to approach the matchup, for sure. As interesting, Clem, he is setting up here in the main. Now for the past couple of games, Clem, he has gone for mine drops. We did have a triple mine drop in game 1, double mine drop here in game 2, but here in game 3 we're going for just the widow mine. Just a single widow mine across the map. I assumed he was going to be picking up the Marines, but no, he keeps the Marines at home, and this is just for scouting. Just a single widow mine, it's just for scouting purposes, it's not really to commit or anything like that. Clem, he is aware of his opponent, thanks to the Reapers. Making his way into the main. And he will confirm, I mean, he already is aware of the tech. And he shouldn't get much done here. Clem is forced out. MaxPax behind this, getting a third base. And settling in. This feels like a mech map. You can play Biotank on this map, for sure. Like, Biotank can be still quite successful. This is probably a mech map in ZVT. I can see that being quite oppressive, for sure. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, kind of. I think the problem with turtling on, like I mentioned before, that the 5th base looks a lot more difficult. The 5th base, when it comes to expanding, is a lot more isolated, a lot more exposed. So I feel like if you're stuck on 4 bases, then your opponent can just mass expand behind it. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, like the map is still very new, so I'm curious to see how the meta evolves around Last Fantasy. When it comes to expansion patterns, when it comes to play styles. As you see, Clem moving out with another mine drop. I say another. It's the same mine drop. Let's go. Same widow mine is moving in. Third base being taken here from MaxPax. Now that I think about it, I think the scary thing about mech on this map is not going to be necessarily slowing the game down. Because I think, again, you can secure yourself on 4 bases quite easily as the mine drop comes into the natural. I think the scariest thing about mech on this map is the speed zones. Specifically, I can see a player maxing out a little bit easier here on 4 bases and then unsieging, and because of these speed zones, like the counterattack can hit so fast and so quick. Like, usually mech armies are a little bit slower, but like pushes through the center are going to be terrifying thanks to the speed zones. I mean, it'd be crazy. I guess it goes for any move out, really, but like these, like that's like there's a lot of speed zones here. A lot of speed. Meanwhile, once again, clear faces coming into play. Nice tank shots here from Clem. He breaks out, going for his own tank push. What does he have? He has Stim, he has +1, he has combat shields. He's getting a third base behind this. As he moves out, Zelleranman moves in, but Clem is in position. Nicely done. He deflects the run by. His main army gets spotted. MaxPax trying to keep up with the rotation. Clem, he gets up the ramp. Does not have disable. And dropping into the main. Yeah, it does go for a massive Dune drop. MaxPax out of position, trying to rotate. Stalker's gonna get punished. Tanks do siege up, going for the tech, going and sniping the Templar Archives. The Archives does go down, no Storm. Autotar's buying some time. And MaxPax, he will force this back, but the tanks take support from the low ground. Yeah, massive tank shots. Oof. Punishing the army. Very nice trades here by Clem. He's not stopping, he's just rallying across the map. I believe the Colossus did survive. But again, who cares about your choke points when you can just drop? You can just drop into the main base. Dropping once again. Pulling back to the tanks. Zealot Might is attempted, but there are plenty of reinforcements. We do see MaxPax trying to collapse on those tanks, but he just cannot touch them. Yeah, these tanks are so secure. GG gets called. Clem, he overwhelms the main base, and Clem, he will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Clem making use of that choke point against MaxPax. We spoke about the choke points earlier in the lead up to this game and the lead up to the mid game about how difficult it is to actually get through them and get past them. So Clem didn't. he didn't get past them. He actually used that choke point against against MaxPax instead, sieging up on the other side and using that as an anchor point to go into the main base and to wreak havoc in the main base instead. And MaxPax, he could not touch those tanks as a result. Again, that choke point was brutal, working against the defending player. He was able to maintain that position and just abuse the main. Just abuse the main base instead. GG. GG, well played. A very impressive push there by Clem. Once again, making use of the map and using the terrain against MaxPax. And with that, we have our grand finals. Clem, he will advance on, and we have a best of 5 TvP between Clem and Hero. Let's go. Let us go.